Hello, crew. How are we today? Just trying to fix up my little, look at this. This is very, very sad. I need a new lay. I need to go back on another cruise to get a new lay. So how are we, everyone? Good to see you here. I've got an interesting live for you today, which is actually inspired by one of our video challenges. And I think it's a first timer to a video challenge, which is even more cool. So if you're not aware, at the beginning of every week, I start off with a video to do with personal development, personal growth, something to keep you growing as an individual and just get the brain ticking over regarding how you can improve yourself and be a better version of yourself. So that day is today. It's one of my 5 favorite lives of the week because it's really meaningful to, I guess, just work out where we need to come from and have a lot of belief in ourselves, because if we don't have that, then it's really hard to be successful in relation to have any kind of business, let alone an online business. So it's just stuff we need to continue to talk about all the time. So that's going to be today's topic. Start again. Today's topic. So how is everyone going? Did we have a lovely weekend? For those of you that have not met me before, my name is Helen Martin and I'm your online crew captain. And we have the most amazing online crew community here of entrepreneurs, home-based business owners, direct sellers, those in network marketing, MLM, and where what we do here is to learn to leverage social media with modern online strategies to grow your business. So the last thing any of us want to do is convince anybody to go into business with us or buy anything off us, like force anybody to do that. We truly want to attract them to us. So we can do that through various attraction marketing strategies. What social media affords us is amazing. And as long as we're not doing it in a spammy way, we're doing it in a way that attracts people to us. But honestly, none of that matters if you've got huge issues going on here. So this is why I talk about this once a week, because this is one of the most powerful lives of the week, is sorting out this kind of stuff and making sure you are who you need to be able to be successful in business. Okay, so who do we have here? We've got Heather on. Hello, Heather. How are you? Edith, lovely to see you on. We've got another Heather. How are you, Heather? Olive, how is Olive today? We've got May. Olive's got the emojis going on, which, if you are unaware, the palm trees for our community here. The fish is for those of you watching from the free group. So I'm broadcasting on my business page and my free group at the same time, which is called Social Media Strategies for Home Business Owners. So that's the little fish symbol. Those that are my online crew leaders in my coaching community, that's the cruise ship. And those with the anchor, like Olive, they're life members of the coaching community, which is pretty cool. I do have a link above to the coaching community. I do a new boot camp every single month in the coaching community, and this month is going to be pretty cool. So in a couple of weeks' time, we're doing a boot camp on boosting your business page, all things business page. How are your business pages? Do they need an overhaul? Do you need more engagement? Do you need interaction? Do you need some more strategies to get more interaction and engagement? So that's the boot camp going on in the coaching community this month. So you'll learn. I think everyone can benefit from that particular boot camp. But if you would like to join us and all the others in the coaching community, that link is above. We got Beth. Hello, Beth. How are you? Hello, Mitch. Good to see you on. Thank you for all your helpful advice in this business. It is my pleasure. I love turning up live and talking to you about this kind of stuff. Hello, Susan. How are you? And another Susan. I'm excellent. Back into the groove, hopefully this week. Miss everyone and the live training. So Susan has been away. How was your holiday, Susan? Did you enjoy yourself? Tammy from Coco Cabana. So cool this morning. Is that hello, Patricia? Tammy's saying hello to everyone. Hang on, I've gone too far again. We got Cynthia. The Super Bowl weekend in the US and my birthday on the 1st of February. It always catches me because I don't know if you guys know this that are, US, etc., but we write our dates differently. So we put the day first and then the month, and yet Americans and a lot of other people around the world put the month first and then the date, and it always trips me up. It's interesting. Hello, Judy and Bob. No worries. We've got Andrew on. We've got Renee. We've got Tashi. We've got Michael. We've got Melanie in the house. How is everyone today? So PD is a must to get our thought right. That's right, personal development. And for those of you that have been around this industry for a while, in the home-based business industry, you might know that we often call it the professional development industry, because it really comes down to us. It's very different to traditional employment, where you might have a job description and a boss that tells you what to do every day. When we venture in this weird, wonderful world of, online and, being our own entrepreneur, it's up to us. So if we don't get our stuff together, then, we've only got ourselves to blame. So, it takes a lot of responsibility, self-responsibility, and a lot of self-restraint. And, if we've got issues to sort out, then we need to sort them out, because it'll only hold us back. Okay. So I'll get into that content in a second. I just want to say a few thank yous to these people have recently left reviews on my page, they've recommended my page, and I just wanted to say thank you to these people. So Mumbayeta has left a review, Ian Duncan, Nana Aslam, we've got Lani House, and we've got Pandip Sandhu. I think I'm saying the name correctly there. So I just wanted to say thank you. Every business page has the ability for somebody to leave a review, or now they call it a recommendation, and those guys have for my page, and I just wanted to say thank you very much for that. Those of you in my branding course, the January 2020 round, we have our second live Zoom call today to look at your branding, your pages, your content, whatever you want me to look at. And there's another one at the end of the week as well. So we're wrapping up the last week of the branding course. So those of you in the branding course, jump on with me live today. And as I mentioned, coming up in a couple of weeks, the boot camp that I'm doing in my coaching community is all about business pages, boosting your business page. So you can get into the coaching community from the link above. Okay, so the topic for today. So when I say this is inspired by somebody in the video challenge, there's topics. So those of you that don't know, that aren't in the video challenge, I give the video challenges topics to talk about for 21 days. So it's just a free video challenge that I offer, and I give them guidelines and topics for every day. So one of the topics on one of the days just recently was for people to share something regarding their childhood that's had an impact on their life. And I'm sure as soon as I say that, some of you would have immediately had a thought of something that impacted you. For a lot of you that know me well, or you've been around me for a while, for me, that would be obviously losing my mum when I was a lot younger. So it's had a huge, huge impact in my life. And I'm sure there's something that you guys can think about that's had a huge impact on your life, but it came from sort of childhood in some way. So this person went on and said, I wasn't going to talk about this today because it's a little bit scary and it's a little bit nerve-wracking and it's a bit personal, but it was really impactful, so I'm going to talk about it anyway. So for any of you that actually talk about anything raw, genuine, and really impactful for something in your life, absolute credit to you, because it's not an easy thing to go live and air really personal stuff. So I'm not going to name the person, but a massive credit to them and a lot of people in the video challenge that are sharing personal stuff. So this person, they might know from a little bit of detail that I give if it was them or not, but I'm not going to name names. And this person was saying that they had something in their childhood that was impacted by their father. So their father wanted to do something, this person, and the person didn't do what their father wanted them to do with their life, basically like a career choice. So the father cut them off. The father cut this individual off. And so this individual was raised by a mum, and the story goes on, and etc. And you can imagine that had a huge impact when you basically feel abandoned. You basically feel like you're not good enough. Why am I not good enough for you to stand by me? Huge impact on her life, which affected her for years. And, to the point today, and the reason that she was talking about it is saying that, I realize now that I let that affect me for far too long, way too many years in my life. He was doing the best job that he could do at that time with his knowledge and what was going in his world. It wasn't my fault. And I've now, moved on from that. And I really wish I didn't hang on to that for as long as I did. Here's my point with all of this, guys. Not just giving credit to the person for telling that story on a live video and letting all the walls down and letting sort of people in and being vulnerable to that, is how many of you, let me ask you a question. How many of you sit there today and you're absolutely happy and content with everything in your life? Can you say yes to that? If you can say yes to that, then you're one of the rare individuals walking this planet that can. Because unfortunately, most people are carrying something from their past, from a parent, even a teacher, somebody at school, friends that bullied them, something. And I'm sure there's something, as you're listening to this, there's something that you can think of that you know had a huge impact on your life. The problem is we hang on to these things. And when we hang on to these things for far longer than we need to, you will always be holding yourself back from whatever greatness that you've got within you. So if you've got somebody in your life that's treated you poorly, or something happened in your child that was really, really impactful and it was not a positive experience. Maybe somebody treated you poorly. Maybe you were bullied as a child. Maybe there were things that were going on that you just look back and go, that made a huge impact in my life. In saying that and realizing that, do you still sit with that today? Are there still people that you can immediately think of that you despise because of what happened back then? Or that you never want to talk again because of what they did to you or how they treated you or those kind of things? Is there somebody that you lost like I did, that makes a huge impact of the person that I am today? Are there things that you are hanging on to? Are there people in your life that you still hold grudges against because of something that happened in your past? These kind of things rule you subconsciously. You don't necessarily go through day by day thinking, that person hurt me, or because of my childhood, this is who I am. Occasionally that might come up in discussion, but generally these things rule us subconsciously. But the problem is, when we hang on to things like this in our life, and there's somebody that you know that you need to forgive, but just for some reason you can't, these kind of things, or somebody supposedly did something to you. I'm not saying supposedly, maybe somebody actually did, and you just can't let go of it. It's going to be impossible for you to be free enough in your life to lead the life that you absolutely 100% desire, whether that's personal or business, really both. So the best thing that you can do for yourself is somehow work out how to let go of the past. We all have to do that, whether it's an individual or an experience, something majorly impactful in our life. If you don't let go of it, if you don't forgive somebody that you need to in your life, if you don't just let go of the angst of the past, or the hurt, or the regret, or the victim, like feeling like a victim, you will never be the person that you were truly put on this planet to be. You'll never really, really be free to live the life and show your full potential in life that you can make, because there's always going to be something holding you back. Now, that's not necessarily an easy thing to do. But do you get where I'm coming from? Are there people here listening to this live that there's somebody that you probably need to have a conversation with? There's somebody maybe that you need to forgive. Those kind of things, that there's something that you are still hanging on to. Maybe it was a previous best friend or something like that you think did you wrong. You only let people hurt you because you choose to let them hurt you. Everything is a choice. People don't hurt you. You choose to let them hurt you. So it's all up to you. And I know I'm not saying that flippantly, because there would be some of you listening to this that have gone through some pretty serious crap in your life. And I'm not disrespecting that at all. What I'm trying to get through to you is that you have a choice as to what you do with that. Because whatever has happened in the past, does not define you now, or the person that you can become or want to become moving forward. But you choose You choose whether you hang on to stuff or you choose to let that define you. And nothing defines you. Nothing defines you from the past. You can make a choice today that, yes, that happened. I didn't like it. It was not a good period of time in my life, but that doesn't define me or who I can be in the future. So I'm not saying it's an easy thing to do, but if you truly, truly want to be really, really happy, like who doesn't want to be happy? I'm presuming all of you live here. You want to strive for a really happy life. But life isn't all roses. There is things that happen in our lives. People pass away very unexpectedly. You know, people get sick, cancer, people do horrible things to people. There are nasty people in the world. Some people have chemical imbalances in their brains that makes them do things that they just shouldn't do. And sometimes we are subject to those things. But it's there, you know, it doesn't define who you are. And, you know, some of you will be holding yourself back from what you can really, really, truly achieve in your life because of your inhibitions or your insecurities or your feeling that you've been a victim. And unless you let go of those things and deal with them, it's going to be really hard for you to maybe achieve the success that you are truly, truly, and the happiness that you are striving for, which you were born to be able to achieve. Everyone is born with greatness. Everyone is born with a little gift. You may just not have discovered what that gift is yet for you because you got things that are holding you back. Your little voice in your head tells you you're not good enough because somebody in your childhood told you you weren't. Maybe somebody continually always put you down. And so that's your truth now. That's what you truly believe. And you hold yourself back from talking to people, from business opportunities, for investing in things, for doing things that you know are probably a good thing to do in your life because this little voice in your head is always holding you back. Because that's what life has always been like. We've got to let go of those things. Whatever is holding you back, whatever little voice, and you know you've got a little voice. We've all got a little voice. So what is it for you? Is it that you're not good enough? Did somebody tell you early on that you weren't good enough or you weren't pretty enough or you weren't fast enough, you know, running or, you know, whatever it is? Don't let those things define who you are now. Make a choice. That, okay, that was the past. That wasn't cool. That was a shit period of time in my life, but it doesn't define who I am now or what I want to achieve moving forward. But only you can do that. So it may be something that, you know, you need help with. But one thing's for sure, whatever's going on in your past, you need to forgive yourself for whatever it is that you think you've done, haven't done good enough with, or haven't made the right decisions, or don't let regret carry through. Don't let feeling like a victim carry through into your future. Don't beat yourself up about things that you can't change. If you can't change it, don't stress about it. Just want to move forward, you know, in a way that's positive, because it comes down to you. You can hold yourself back for years. You can be in this business model for years and not have any success. And it won't come down to the business model because most of the business models are set up for us to succeed. It comes down to you. Bottom line is it comes down to you. So you can either make the most of things, learn to forgive yourself and forgive others and move on to strive for that happiness and that successful business that you're looking for, or you can hang on to shit. And I would highly advise you not to hang on to stuff. I remember, I don't know if any of you have heard of something called Landmark. Like Landmark is a training type mentorship thing that, and then they do like seminars and stuff like that. And it's a different way of thinking, but they help you move through your stuff. Now, it was highly recommended to me a few years ago. There was a seminar that was coming to my city, and a mentor said, you know, have you ever done Landmark? And I hadn't even heard of it before. I said, funny you should mention that. Something hit my email. They're coming to my city. They only come twice a year. And she was like, you need to go. I'm like, okay. I didn't know what I was headed for. I didn't know what it was all about. I just knew it was something that I should do. And so that helped me work through some stuff regarding, you know, my mum, and I won't go into that, but I remember distinctly there was somebody there that their father had treated them very, very poorly. I won't go into details, but terrible, terrible childhood, and he had been in jail for it. So her and her sisters had gone through a terrible time with their father. He'd been in jail for sort of many years and was out of jail. And so it's all about dealing with stuff and forgiving people and, working through whatever it is you need to work through. So they challenged this person to make contact with their father. So since the father had been in jail for years and years and years and got out, there'd been no contact. So they challenged this person to contact their father and say, I forgive you. And I can't tell you the emotions in the room with everybody's stuff that they deal with. We all deal with stuff. And the tears and we're all crying with them. Like, it was full on. Anyway, this girl made contact with her father and said, I forgive you. And he's like, what? Whatever. And I won't go into details about how it all unfurled. But afterwards, she said, I don't know why I didn't do that 10 years ago. Like, I can't believe the weight that has just been lifted off my shoulders for having that one conversation and saying to him, I forgive you. And, the point I'm making here is we hang on to stuff. You could have had a conversation with somebody last week and it didn't go well. And you're thinking, oh, no. And they're thinking, no. And then you're not talking to each other and everybody's got stuff made up in their head about that person and whatever. Like, we do this stuff all the time as human beings. But it's just so insignificant in the scheme of things. Like, you should always try to be the bigger person. Communication is everything. Communication with people, with friends, with husbands, with wives, with children, with exes, with whoever. Communication is everything. And this girl was saying, just having that one conversation with her father and saying, I forgive you, was just like, and so that happened very early on in that weekend sort of workshop. And my God, she was like a different human being. So my point me being, if you need to deal with some stuff, don't wait 5 years, 10 years or 20 years to deal with stuff, because it's only ever going to hold you back from so many things in your life. Can anyone resonate with what I'm saying? I'm not trying to give a lecture. Like, I talk to myself when I share these things about things that hold me back, or, the little voice that pops in and says, oh, can you really pull that off? Or are you good enough? Do people really want to listen to you? All those kind of things. Like, we're all human. It goes through all our heads. Like, can any of you relate to what I'm talking about, with this particular topic? Now, I don't know who this is, because you're watching from our Facebook group, and you just need to click the StreamYard. So StreamYard.com/Facebook. Anybody that's in the group that appears like that, you just need to give StreamYard permission for us to see who you are. I went through intensive therapy, lots of reading and meditative events to help me deal. I often speak of it during my go lives, and it helps me immensely. And that's why I picked up on this person during a video challenge. So this is only a video I've just watched. And listening to this person sort of saying, I wasn't going to talk about this because this was really scary, but I'm going to talk about it because I realize now that I shouldn't have hung on to it for as long as I did. And, we have a relationship now. And although he still doesn't agree with my choices and stuff like that, like, I've let it go. And even talking about it for that person was just freeing. So you got to free yourself from whatever it is that's holding you back. I think we all do subconsciously. And this is the reason why I will talk about stuff like this, to bring it back to the surface, because we let these things rule us subconsciously. And it's just, we make excuses for ourselves by saying it's just who I am. It's just how I was brought up. It was just, growing up the way I did has made me the person that I am today. They're just excuses, and we're giving into their subconscious, because you can change anything you want in your life right now. Everything is a choice. So we can't give in to that kind of language. We can't give in to those kind of excuses, because it's not true. It doesn't define who you are. You choose who you are. So you choose to hang onto it and make excuses for yourself on that. Well, that's just the way it is. No, it's not the way it is. You're choosing for that to be the way it is. So we need to sort of talk about this and raise the awareness of something like this, because you can choose. You can choose to change anything you want. It's totally up to you. I should have continued with the childhood impact things and said my father never gave me credit for much, and that's what has affected my life since. And if you talk, it wasn't your life, Michael. If you talked about your father, it's not your life that I was talking about. but your father never gave me much credit for much, and that's affected my life since. Little things like that, guys, we need to recognize them, but recognize them in a way that, okay, that's what was, but that doesn't define sort of who I am now. You can't, and because it does, it affects the person that we are today. So we can realize it, but it doesn't have to define you. Like you, and you don't need to give into that. Because, you know, we're all born for greatness. We just either allow it or hold ourselves back from it. One person is so controlling. So Sonia, maybe you have somebody in your life that is controlling of you. So I get that that is the circumstance that you're in, but to some degree you allow it or you don't. So you speak up or you get yourself out of that situation. So there is some element of control that we choose, and sometimes they're the hardest decisions to make. Even leaving a relationship, you know, things like that, they're the hardest decisions to make, but we still have a choice whether we stay. It's like people say, you know, job, I hate my job, and they've been in the job for like 10 years. You're still choosing to be in the job because you could actually go and look for another job and leave. But some people are so scared of the insecurity of leaving their job or whatever, but yet they hate what they're doing. Who wants to wake up in the morning and hate what they do every day? But it is a choice at the end of the day. We all have choices. We all have choices. We can be the best we can be, and there are times we have to reconcile for ourselves in order to move forward. Exactly. Susan, I think personal development is super great for this kind of thing. It teaches you how to let go of this, maybe not to forget, but forgive. We'll never forget. You know, those, if some of you have had really awful times in your past, you'll never forget, but you can forgive. Forgive yourself at the very least for anything that was not your doing and you hung on to it. And there you go. Forgive yourself for things that are not your doing. It's a reflection on the other person, not you. Okay? Seriously, the person needs to lighten up. She is so controlling. How do I deal with this person? So do you need to walk away from the person? Is it somebody that you absolutely have to have in your life, or can you start distancing yourself from that person, because you don't need that in your life? But you've got choices as to how much you let that affect you, or just realize you know, that's their personality, that's not you know, your problem, and let it bounce off. So realize it for what it is. If they're controlling and you have to have them in your life, learn to let it bounce off and remind yourself it's their problem. They're the one being a control freak. It's got nothing to do with you. So sometimes we need to put a wall up and just remind ourselves, not my problem. Not my problem. But you know, if they don't really need to be in your life, or you can distance the amount of time you're around somebody like that, then that's what I would recommend, because you don't need to be subject to that. You know, obviously, we all have to let go. There is something that you all need to let go of. There's probably 100% of you watching the replay that everybody's got something that they need to let go of. No doubt about it. There are times, however, that there are great memories from the past. Yeah, and I'm only talking about the stuff that holds you back. So, you know, I'm sure you've all got beautiful memories from your past, but the stuff from your past that you know holds you back, or it's created little subconscious things for you about self-doubt, lack of self-belief, you're not good enough, you don't look good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not capable enough, you're never going to earn a lot of money because no one in your family ever did, or you never have before. Like the shit that you tell yourself generally comes from our past. So that's back then. We don't need to let that define what the future is going to be. But you choose that. You choose that train of thought. So choose wisely. Be very, very mindful of what you think of and what you concentrate on. And I would encourage you to lean towards the positive rather than negative. It's very easy to think about all the bad things that are happening, the money that you don't have, the struggles that you have, the people around you that, you know, impact you. But if you sit in that struggle, then you attract more of the struggle. Like, we've got to think outside that and always think, you know, sort of positively. Hi, Helen. Love this. I'm glad it's helpful. I agree. Hey, not sure who you are because you're watching from the group. You just need to click the StreamYard link above. True. Let go of whatever holds you back. Learn from the past and make yourself grow. And just look at it as lessons. Not all lessons are good lessons. Not everything is roses. We've all got things in our past that hurt, or, you know, you perhaps you were the victim of something. But please don't let it define you moving forward, because it's going to be really hard for you to be really successful in this entrepreneurial world, because it relies on us. It relies on our strengths strength, our thoughts, doing things that we don't want to do, because that's what, if it was easy to be an entrepreneur and be in this kind of business model, then everybody would do it. But if you want things that the average person doesn't have, then you're going to have to do things that the average person doesn't do. But that takes a lot of strength and courage and grit and determination and, strength when, the average person doesn't. So you need to be stronger. And you need to have a lot of belief in yourself. Otherwise, you're going to sit in the struggle year after year after year after year and wonder, the reason that you're not getting to where you want to go. It's probably because you're holding yourself back, and it may be even subconscious that you're doing that. So you have to bring it to the forefront and deal with it. I'm able now to let the grudges go, but what is hard in my situation is the fact that the same person still continues today to do and say meaningful and hurtful things. Then I have to start the whole process over and again. So you need to build a wall, then bounce it, let it bounce off. It's what people do to us is a projection of them. It's not a projection of you, Lynn. If that person is still doing it today, it's their problem, it's their issue, and it's somehow you have to build a really thick wall and let it bounce off and remind yourself it's got nothing to do with me. It's just their insecurities that they need to say that or do that or whatever, and just build the bridge and don't absorb it, because it's actually got nothing to do with you. It's to do with that person and their need to be negative, or their need to, put you down, or whatever it is that they're doing. It's a reflection on them. It's not a reflection on you, Lynn. So, try to build a thicker skin and let it bounce off. Hard thing to do. I'm not saying that that's easy, but it's what you need to concentrate on and remind yourself when it's coming at you. It's not my thought. It's not my stuff. It's his stuff. It's her stuff. Whoever it is. Because, we choose to let them hurt us. So in that moment, you can choose that, or you can absorb it and get upset and all the rest of it. Like, we do choose our emotions. There are immediate emotions, which, they say like the first sort of, 5-10 minutes, you can have an emotion uncontrollably. Like, I can see something or listen to something and just immediately cry, like something might trigger my emotion. You guys in the video challenge sometimes do that to me. I watch something and then I'm crying because something triggered it in it, like it hit an emotion for me. But if then I choose to cry for the rest of the day, like, because then that brought on something about me and whatever, like if I do that, then that's a choice. So occasionally we'll have emotions, like you might lash out and think, oh, I really wish I didn't say that. Like, occasionally there's triggers, but after like the few minutes, you're choosing your emotion. So remember that. It's a choice. It's not what's happening to you. You're actually choosing it. So take control. Take responsibility for the way you feel, the way you act, and what you say and what you don't say. Don't hold grudges. Communication. Or, stick up for yourself, Lynn. I've had enough. No more. You can't treat me that way anymore. And I don't know your situation, so I'm just, throwing stuff out there. But yes, Megan, we choose how we respond. You absolutely choose how you respond. So think of that. Because at the end of the day, we just want to be happy. But you choose that happiness. You choose to hang on to things, or you can choose to be happy by dealing with things. Sometimes it's easier to just not deal with things and push them under the carpet. And some of you may have things that are still under the carpet that need to get out underneath the carpet and forgive somebody, or have a conversation with somebody, and it will be freeing. And when you're free and released of, stuff that's been holding you back from the past, then you can actually go and achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. Letting go is like shedding skin. I'm not sure who that is. Becoming transparent and owning it becomes the freeing event of my time. Owning it. Yeah. And choosing to be free. And, like Matthew's saying here, we just have to keep moving forward. And it may not be an easy thing to do. But realize it's in your control what's happening. Your life today, if you have your health, the next is happy. We have to take responsibility for what's going on in our life. And if it's not going that well, then look in the mirror. What are you letting hold you back? What are you not dealing with? All that kind of stuff. Sonia, I'm a strong person. I have a friend who is insecure, and they're the worst. because jealousy can sink in, and if somebody's insecure, the way that they deal with that is to put other people down or to control other people in other ways, because they're so insecure with themselves. They need to, control other people, control things, or even say nasty things about other people because it makes them feel good. It's like that person that, you're on a diet and they're not, but they get insecure that, oh, what if you lose weight and look better than I do and whatever, and they're the first person shoving the chocolate cake down your face because it makes them feel better if you default. It makes them feel better if you eat the ice cream and the chocolate cake, because then, it just makes them feel better that they're not on the diet. Do you know what I mean, guys? Does that make sense? So, people are not necessarily, other people's insecurities don't necessarily serve us well, with what they say and do. Megan, my accounting teacher, used to put me down in front of the class, and I said I would never be any good in the accounting field. I run my own bookkeeping business. That's what we like to see. Smack it in the face. You haven't heard of Landmark? So Landmark is around the world, Crystal. And yeah, they offer sort of programs. It is an interesting one because some people think Landmark is a bit of a cult, the way they think and stuff like that. But they have some really, really good teachings. I did one program with them. Yes, choice, change equals opportunity. I love that, Helen. Well said. And Crystal, we'll leave it here. Wow, you inspired me to do something that will change my life in a big way. Maybe I would do it on a Go Live. Do it, Crystal. Do it. Do it. Whatever it is, just do it. And I'm glad I've inspired you. If one person just goes and acts on something that you will find freeing in your life, and you can let go of something that you've been hanging on to for way, way, way too long, then I will be a very happy person. Okay, and this is why I raise this kind of stuff, because a majority of you will be hanging on to something from the past, whatever that is, or somebody you haven't forgiven, or you haven't forgiven yourself for something, and you're not allowing yourself to be, to experience true happiness and then have the ability to be really successful in business. Because unless you're truly happy and confident and have self-belief, you actually can't have a really successful business, guys, because things will hold you back, and you'll self-sabotage yourself as well, which, we don't want for you. So whatever work you can do, whether you need external help or whatever, who cares? Just, do what you need to do to be the best version of yourself. And, the only thing you can change is now. You can't change the past, and you actually can't change the future. You can mold the future, and you can have predictions and ideas and strategies and goals and dreams, but you can't change it because you're not there yet. You can't change the future because you're not in the future yet. You're here and now. The only thing you can do is change the here and now. So you choose what you do here and now, and that will then map a different path forward, perhaps rather than the path that you've had for many years, leading up until this point. So it's all about choices, guys, and all about self-responsibility. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there because I've talked way too long again, but really, really important stuff. So I hope you got something from this live just to make you sort of think. Remember, those of you in my branding course, we are live in 25 minutes in the branding course. I'll see you guys over there. And for the rest of you, I'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.